Once again, this is Mary Hodges, co-founder of Lean Legal, and we are back for our training series, 4 Steps to Using Independent Contractors in Your Business, Step 3. And up to this point, we're halfway through the steps. And I hope you've gotten a lot of valuable information and some action items that you can start using right away. And like I promised, it was going to be quick, easy, and informative. So let's get started. All right, step 3, limit the amount of control over the contractor's work. And obviously, this speaks directly to the control element that we've discussed earlier in the training. And in a contractor relationship, typically the business will control the deliverable and the deadline, and the contractor controls the manner and means. And what I mean by that is when you're hiring a contractor for a service or a project or something like that, the business will give the initial instruction. Here's what I want. Here's the objectives. These are the specifications. This is the desired outcome. And then here's the deadline. So you think beginning to end, the initial instructions and then the final outcome. The manner and means are going to be anything in between. So where, who, when, and how the work gets done are manner and means. And to expand on this a little bit, the contractor should be able to control things like what time the work gets done, what time of the day, where the work gets done at, usually at the contractor's place of business. Typically, businesses should not require the contractor to come to their office space to provide work. The contractor, especially if they're in business for themselves, back to step 1, has their own business, so they likely have their own office space. Who can provide the work? Is the contractor required to perform those services personally? Or is the contractor free to use employees or subcontractors to assist? Does the contractor have to use the business's equipment and supplies to complete the work? Or are those equipment and supplies provided for by the contractor? Is the business having control over the order and sequence of how that project is played out? Or is that in the contractor's control? Is the business requiring that the contractor give written or oral reports about progress of the project? Typically, that's something that is going to point to an employer-employee relationship. Requiring status updates is a level of control, over the worker. So all of these things are going to generally analyze, is the business controlling manner and means? If it is, there's going to be an argument that that relationship is an employer-employee relationship. Another factor that you want to consider is there any level of training that the contractor has to go through to be able to complete the services? Training is going to be a factor that, typically shows that that's an employer-employee relationship. So there are a lot of concepts and factors at play here in this overall control element that a business needs to think about. And again, like I was explaining in the last training, you need to step outside of the relationship and think about it in the totality of the circumstances. How's everything fitting together? So for your action items, I want you to think about your current contractors. Write down 2 to 3 ways, as we're going through this training, I'm sure you were thinking of your own business practices and your own relationship with your contractors. Write down 2 to 3 ways that you think you may have too much control over your contractors. Think about how you can change those practices to give the contractor more control. For instance, if you're requiring reports, can you just stop requiring the reports? Set the deadline, deliverable, let the contractor control the manner and means. Are you making the contractor come to your office? Can the contractor go to their own office and do the work? things of that nature. So I want you to begin the process of thinking about these things and how you could make changes. So that completes the step 3, limiting the amount of control. And that's a pretty comprehensive step. I know we kind of covered a lot pretty quickly, but the point of this is to be mini training series so that you can really get a basis of the information right away and start thinking about these things. So in the next and final video of the training series, we will talk about independent contractor agreements. See you tomorrow, guys.